Ax or ask, Donda's rules, suit shoes. McClendonReport.com.
Does your sentence depend on your job description? Does police academy graduation guarantee a lenient punishment if found guilty? Or do lawyers golf with judges? Officer Anthony Abati has been sentenced to 2 years in prison. No, 2 years at his house with a curfew of 8 o'clock p.m. Harsh. Judge John Fleming must have golfed with his lawyer because probation, community service, and a few classes are severe penalties for beating up a woman. Anthony Abati, you dodged a bullet this time. I need everyone to call me tonight at 630-575-TALK to discuss what he should have received tonight on Garrard McClendon Live. Welcome to Garrard McClendon Live. Beat cop beats up woman gets slap on the hand by Judge Fleming. Violence and cruelty against women, you know it's normal. We're used to it. Male domination, hegemonic nightmares for women such as Carolina Obrica, it don't really matter. A stiffer penalty would have given to Abate, would have beaten a schnauzer or a cocker spaniel. Welcome to America, land of the free. Free to beat up women and get a country club punishment. Call me after you hear this interview at 630-575-TALK. I had the opportunity to speak with Professor Craig Futterman from the University of Chicago Law School. He expresses his outrage in our discussion. Let's listen. In the police officer Anthony Abate's beating of Carolina Obrica, he was found guilty, but he receives probation, community service, he gets anger management class and curfew. What are your thoughts on that?
He should be in prison. I mean, that's basically the short summary of my thoughts. There is absolutely no reason why he should not be in prison. It sends really a horrible message both to community and everyone in the world who's seen this video of this appalling beating of really just this brutal beating of a slight woman by a drunken man twice her size who's a police officer and who clearly believes that he's above the law. It's a terrible message to the entire community, but it's also a horrible message to police officers here in Chicago. I mean, if we want to deter and stop this stuff, what kind of message when you have a videotape beating? There's no doubt about what happened here. The whole world is appalled by this. And to then just simply give this guy a slap on the wrist, the message is that if you're a police officer, you're above the law. You're completely above the law. And that's the problem. And clearly, Anthony Abati thought that he was above the law in that bar. He thought that he was above the law when he just went in the back and said, I don't care if you say I'm too drunk and I can't have anything more to drink. I'm going to go get something to drink. I'm a police officer. And then when the young woman stands in her way, no problems, no quarrels about just simply abusing his power, abusing his strength, and just brutally beating her for the world to see.
When it comes to John Fleming's sentencing of Anthony Abate, does this say that the law is subjective, which it probably isn't, or that the sentencing from a judge can be subjective?
Well, certainly the sentencing from a judge can be subjective. I don't know Judge Fleming, and as I made clear, I certainly disagree with his sentence in this case. I found it interesting, though, that Anthony Abati, when he chose to have a trial, he chose to have a bench trial, not a jury trial. He trusted his fate in the hands of this particular judge versus in the hands of ordinary people from Cook County. And the same thing was true when there was also recently this other videotape beating in a bar, police officers of a number of businessmen. And again, it was interesting that those officers thought that they would be better protected. Just most of us think a jury trial, right to jury trial, but they thought they would be better protected by having their fate decided by a judge. And, of course, they were right. And apparently Mr. Abate was also right, at least in that he was given essentially a slap on the wrist.
This is interesting. So instead of government for, of, and by the people, when you're a police officer, it's like, I'm not going to take my chances with the people. I'm going to take my chances with myself.
Yeah, and so that's, in terms of message to the public, trust and faith both in our police department, our officers, and in our criminal justice system, I think this sends the wrong message. The message that I would hope that the judge would want to send in terms of one of the justifications for punishment is to deter Mr. Abate and deter others, deterrence of others who would be in that situation, is that this is worse. This one, it wasn't just simply a barroom fight. This wasn't a fight between equals or a couple of drunks in a bar. This was an abuse of power by a man violently beating a slight woman unprovoked. And not just any man, but a man who is charged with protecting and serving the public, a man who was given a gun, and matter of fact, a man who apparently, it was shown, beat another man in that same bar on videotape just a few hours earlier. And and so the message that I think that if anything, a case like this calls for a more stern sentence if you're a judge, because this case is a case that involves a breach of the public trust.
Yeah.
And it's also a case that then you remember that Mr. Abate and his peers then sought to cover up and did everything from intimidate the bar, intimidate witnesses from coming forward, try to keep the victim from prosecuting, and then, of course, as you know, then there were orders to keep the press out when Mr. Abate was first brought to court just on a misdemeanor. So, I mean, this case involves a lot more than just a simple barroom beating. It involves a real abuse of power. And I'm not questioning the particular judge's integrity, but, you know, in this particular instance, I just fundamentally disagree with his decision. I don't know enough about Judge Fleming to, say anything more general than that about him in particular, but I can say that I strongly disagree.
Welcome back to Garrard McClendon Live and CLTV. You know, it's your turn, Chicago, as we let your voice resonate throughout Chicagoland. You know, it's your voice. What's your opinion on a police officer behaving badly in a bar? Call me, 630-575-TALK. We've got Facebook blowing up, Twitter is blowing up, ChicagoNow.com on my blog is just ferocious tonight. One person, Alicia, she says, so what is the solution? Let me go to phones first. I'm going to Sylvia. Sylvia, thanks for calling Garrard McClendon Live. Sylvia, what's your comment?
Well, I'm totally outraged by this situation. I think more than anything, this is garbage. I mean, us as people, as U.S. citizens and everything like that, why are we subject to things like this? She wasn't doing anything for him to come in there and beat her like that.
Yeah.
And this is someone who was supposed to be upholding the law, and they know the law. But it's okay for them to do it, and it's okay for them to get away with it. Why was it okay that he only got a slap on the wrist?
Wow.
2 years probation to sit at home, and like you said, be at home at 8 o'clock curfew?
Yeah.
That's not enough for me.
You know, Sylvia, he just gets to watch more TV. Thanks for your call, Sylvia.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Let me go to Chrissy next. Chrissy, thanks for calling GML. What's your comment?
I agree with the woman before me. This is absolutely ridiculous for him to act in that way, not even provoke. And I believe there's wonderful police officers and firemen out there, awesome people, and he just abused his power, and it just makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah, me too, Chrissy. Thanks for your call. I appreciate you. Let me see if I can get to Tara next. Tara, thanks for calling Garrard McClendon Live on CLTV. Tara, what's your comment?
Hey, yes, I'm just outraged with the decision of the Judge Fleming, because he's sending a bad message, not only to the community, to the officers as well. Because if this can happen like this and he just gets 2 years probation, then what's the next officer going to do?
Yeah.
And this young lady can have external scars for years, and he's just only getting 2 years probation.
That's for real.
So that doesn't sit well with me at all.
That's for real, Tara. Thank you so much for calling Garrard McClendon Live. You know what? You graduate from Police Academy, and you're going to get a lenient sentence. Let's keep it going. Let me go to Barbara next. Barbara, thanks for calling GML. What's your comment, Barbara?
Hi, Gerard. How are you?
Pretty
God
good.
bless you.
Thank you.
Yes, listen, I think this is very outrageous. This man thinks he's above the law. He can't be touched. He should be put away in prison for beating that woman. She didn't deserve what he did. He really believes he's untouchable. The judge should be removed.
Yeah, wow.
This
Woo.
is outrageous.
Woo.
There is a higher power.
Wow.
And he's not going to get away with this.
Woo.
He might think he's getting away with it, but our higher power above sees what he's doing.
Wow. Hey, Barbara, thanks for the call. I appreciate you. You know what? Higher power. We'll see what happens. You know what? Hey, I'm answering all Facebook and Twitter messages tonight after the show. Hit me at Garrard McClendon on Facebook and Garrard MC on Twitter. Stay with us as we take more of your phone calls on the senseless beating of Carolina Obrica, a bartender just refusing to serve endless alcohol to an off-duty police officer. Call me now, 630-575-TALK. Thank you for joining us on Garrard McClendon Live. You know you can give me a phone call. The number is 630-575-TALK. That's the number. It gets you in. You can weigh in on this subject of a man punching a woman for another drink of alcohol. No jail time, just a loss of a job, felony, curfew, probation, anger management, community service. Is this enough? Or should we be more upset with Judge John Fleming? Call me now, 630-575-8255. I'm going to go back to phones here. I'm going to go to Carl next. Carl, thanks for calling GML. What's your comment, Carl?
Yes, it totally shows that he's abused his power. He's above the law. Judge Fleming record should be pulled too, exactly because so many times we've seen just here in Chicago where police is getting slapped on the wrist and getting these type of sentence, or it was just kicked to the curb because the state don't want the lawsuit.
That's for real, Carl. Hey, thanks for the call. I appreciate you. In my blogs earlier, I mentioned, do lawyers golf with judges? And another thing that I mentioned is you have the right to remain beaten. Let's get back to the phone calls. I'm going to Nanette next. Nanette, thanks for calling GML. What's your comment, Nanette?
How you doing tonight, Gerard?
Pretty good. Just a little upset, you know, at the judge. I'm upset at Anthony Abati. I'm just upset. Talk to me.
I just want to say we know, and the country and probably the world knows that this officer abused his powers. And since we had the audacity to put a weak-minded judge in the office, we as the people are going to have to stand up and vote Mr. Fleming out of office.
Yeah.
We got to get rid of people like him.
Yeah,
We
that's for
can't
real.
keep them on, and we can't keep continuing allowing these officers, those who think they are above the law, getting away with criminal action.
That's
We
right.
can't do it.
Yeah, Nanette, thanks for the call. I appreciate you. Let's see if we can get one more in before the break. Elisa, thanks for calling Garrard McClendon Live. Elisa, what's your comment?
Basically, I feel like his getting off is the reason why so many women in abusive relationships feel helpless and afraid to call police in the first place. They're trained for combat. They should have some sensitivity training as well. I mean, he shouldn't. Probation is just a slap in the face to any woman who's ever thought about calling the police. And every woman out there that's basically in an abusive relationship, I'm wondering how many domestic calls he's answered and left the victim there to just be a victim because he feels like it's okay to put his hands on a woman.
Yeah, you're right, Elisa. Thanks for the call. I appreciate you. You're absolutely right. You know, you beat up a man, you might get punished. You beat up a dog or kill a dog, schnauzer, pit bull, you know, a cocker spaniel, you might do a little jail time. You beat up a woman, you beat up a female, you naughty boy. Let me get to one more phone call. Angie, thanks for calling Garrard McClendon Live. Angie, what's your comment?
Yes, hi, Gerard. This is Angie. I'm calling in regards of the sentence that Judge Fleming gave to the police officer. Right now, he should be removed from his job, period. And second of all, the police officer shouldn't have just gotten a slap on the wrist as he did.
Yeah.
This lady here was abused seriously.
Yeah.
And right now, the whole world is seeing this. So right now, I'm very scared of the police.
That's
seriously.
for real. That's for real. That's for real, Angie. Thanks for the call. I appreciate you. You know, I definitely don't want to liken this, and I don't want people to get it twisted. Garrard McClendon's comparing Carolina to Rodney King. By no means am I doing that. But this was on tape, and this makes it outrageous. Let me go to Eddie next. Eddie, thanks for calling Garrard McClendon Live. What's your comment, Eddie?
Hi. You know what? I feel that the judge and both the officer, they both feel that they're above the law, you know, and I think the judge should step down because that was very abusive.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. You know, what should have been the penalty, Eddie? What should he have gotten?
You know what? He should have gotten jail time, and I think they should file a civil lawsuit against them and just milk him, you know, let him feel the pain.
Yeah, that's for real. Eddie, thanks for the call, man. I appreciate you for calling Garrard McClendon Live. Let me read a quick comment here. Charles says, I think Shaggy must have been the judge. I got another comment here from Chicago East. This was just one of his buddies giving him sparring practice for the real job at hand, pummeling females. Another person, Jill, goes on to say, not guilty verdict? You got to be kidding me, Gerard.
I don't see how that man got probation, man. It's not right. It was wrong. Something ain't right.
I believe a body should be in prison at 26 in California. His behavior was atrocious. How could you have a police officer on the street or off duty treating citizens like that?
I'm commenting on the cops that beat up the woman in the bar. Simply just outraged. I mean, I was looking at the tape and I'm really in tears.
Saw that a body video. Once again, he got off. How? How? You have video proof. And he gets what? A slap on the wrist? He's hurting women? He will hurt children next.
Yeah, I don't understand how this person can get away with such a thing. If a person does something like that, you can believe that cops will be all over them.
And I'm just furious about this. And I want to know what the name of the judge is. Why aren't they releasing the name of the judge that put the sentence out there? Because I guarantee you, if it was a female officer off duty and just Joe Schmo that was in the bar beating up on her, this would have been completely different.
Welcome back to Garrard McClendon Live. That's the GMLV line, 630-574-3232. You know you can always give me a call right after the show. I'm going to go to some phones here shortly, but let me go to Piman Rami here. He says, if the police can do this to a white woman and get away with it, people of color don't stand a chance. Dianca says, oh my God, I can't believe this. I swear our justice system is a big joke. Kenyatta says, I was very disappointed by this. On Facebook, Cavell says, don't get it twisted, Gerard. These police have got it all twisted up if they think they can get away with this. And then Curtis Williams simply says, this is sad, Gerard. Let me go to phones. I'm going to Sherry. Thanks for calling Garrard McClendon Live. Sherry, what's your comment?
My comment is the judge said that the cop has suffered enough. Are you kidding me? This woman has not only got assaulted by the cop, but she also got assaulted by the judge.
Yeah.
He's not going to do any jail time. This woman has mental injuries. Maybe she didn't have no physical injuries, but she has mental injuries.
Yeah.
And let it been that the man was a regular man and the woman was a police woman, that man would have been spending the rest of his life under the prison.
There we go, Sherry. Thanks for the call. I appreciate you. Absolutely. It was Judge John Fleming. We want to make that clear that we do know his name. You know, hey, we can lynch women, beat up women, and get away with it. I guess you can if you go to Police Academy. Let me go back to the phones. Edward, thanks for calling GML. Edward, what's your comment?
Hi, Gerard. It is such a disgrace to have an officer of the law to do what he did. And just recently, I attended a funeral service for a fallen officer who lost his life in Inglewood trying to protect the citizens of the city. And a few months ago, I attended a funeral service for Officer Earhart,
yeah, it's terrible.
a detective who lost his life trying to in a hostage situation, and then we have an officer like this gentleman, a body, doing what he did.
Unreal.
My clear statement is you reap what you sow.
There we
Judge
go.
Fleming, get your boxes packed because the citizens of this county is going to vote you out.
Hey, Edward, thanks for the call. I appreciate you. Yari, make it quick. What's your comment on Garrard McClendon Live?
Gerard, I'll make it so quick.
Go ahead.
I don't care what your race is. Justice is justice. But I guarantee you this, Gerard. If you had a video camera pointed on you in your studio during commercial break, beating up some little intern, the way that about to beat old girl up, trust me, you will not get a slap on the wrist, Gerard. You will have your
Yari.
show, and you will be behind bars.
Hey,
That's all I have to
Yari,
say.
thanks for the call. You're absolutely right. I'll try my best not to beat up interns at CLTV and WGN. You know, it's clear that I'm upset, not just at the judge or the subjective nature of the justice system, but that we have embraced the beating of a woman. Call me sexist or overly sensitive, but women are to be protected, provided for, and respected, not beaten. Carolina Obrica, we pray for you. And you know what? We also pray for Anthony Abati as well. He deserves to be forgiven behind bars.
Ask or ask? Donda's rules, Suit Shoes. McClendonReport.com.